Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest version of Tales from Outer Space, where I take an HFY story from somewhere around the internet and read it aloud for your enjoyment. All the relevant links are down below. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube comf to help this video and channel grow. Anyways, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I would just like to thank the following Tier 5 patrons and channel members for supporting the channel: FallenAngel, BuzzKillington, Datamagnet, and Bob the Dragon. Thank you again. And now, on to the story. Story number 1. The Reason for Invulnerability, written by MertwithYert. Confidential, for authorized eyes only. The following is a brief history and report on our humanity's starships that have been declared by many other races in the galaxy as invulnerable. To begin, one must understand the history surrounding the technology powering our FTL drives. At first, we powered our drives with hydrogen fusion reactors. However, the consumption of the drive vastly outweighed the production. This led to our ships not being able to make multiple FTL jumps in quick succession without having to fit the ship with multiple bulky capacitors that made for easy targets. During this time, many of the species present in the Milky Way were at war with one another, meaning these species were highly distrustful and restrictive with their technology. We had to develop our own means of better power production. This led to the development of the Quantum Collider generator. This particular generator was capable of producing massive amounts of energy and could be compacted to the size half of that of the hydrogen fusion counterpart. Though this document will not be covering the exact mechanisms of the device, see document 4-003619 for further information. The general function of a quantum collider generator involves the unique physics of quantum scale particles. Through the process described in document 4-003619-1, certain quantum physics particles are collided in a way that causes a temporary fusion, then fission of the particles. The first prototype ships developed using this generator passed all functionality tests and all but one of the stress tests. This test was the first sign that something not then explainable was occurring with these generators. When the ship's drives had ceased to function, the onboard diagnostics gave readings that were well beyond what the theoretical failure points were. By all means, the ship would have exploded in a violent and catastrophic display that could have been seen by naked eyes up to several star systems away. Somehow, the ship was still holding together, with the only sign of problems was the FTL not functioning. Investigations launched into the ship made an even stranger discovery. When recalculating the failure point of the ship, an error was found that made the points of failure much higher, but only when the generator was active. This error was not found when the generator was powered off. The resulting mathematical paradox caused the thousands of mathematicians called in to double and triple check the results to become violently angry. Furthermore, this discrepancy was only found when the calculations were performed in proximity to the power generator that experienced the failure, not near any of the other active prototypes. The mystery remained unsolved until the theoretical quantum engineer performed a risk assessment of the potential catastrophic failure of the generator. They found that if the generator ever failed, the rapid collapse of the quantum containment field would result in the destabilization of many quantum interactions. The resulting cascade event would cause the complete destruction of the universe. Upon this discovery, many more investigations were launched into how exactly this universe was still existing. Hundreds of research reports ended up with inconclusive results until one experiment, detailed in document 4-003619-2, made a still vigorously debated conclusion. It appears that the universe itself is self-preserving and will actively and temporarily change the fundamental laws of physics around the generator in order to prevent failure. The happenstance of these changes appear to be according to the likelihood of the change occurring. However, it is important to note that the likelihood is not the only factor determining what change occurs. This is just the only factor that has been consistently identified. Though the full extent of just how much the universe is willing to change to protect the generators from fading is unknown, Some of the changes are listed below. Increasing metal density, increasing metal heat resistance, increasing metal resistance to shearing, compression, puncture, and torsion forces. Disrupting velocity vectors of both host ship and all foreign ship, shifting either the host ship or the entire universe around host ship in a single direction. Causing wormholes, nullifying effects of black holes on host ship only. Disrupting targeting computers, causing early detonation of explosive payloads, causing non-detonation of explosive payloads, deleting various projectiles from existence, changing energy wavelengths of light, causing boarding ships to be unable to attach umbilical, causing boarding ships to be unable to forcibly attach umbilical, blinking the entire host ship to a completely different location through unknown means. This is only a handful of temporary changes that the universe has made and is in no way a complete list. The results of these changes has convinced the other races of the Milky Way that the human ships are somehow invulnerable. This in turn has made human ships the target of many attacks in an attempt to steal the secret of their invulnerability. An interesting point to note is that the universe appears to be thwarting all attempts of the other species to obtain the knowledge of producing these generators. It is possible that the universe sees the keeping of this knowledge in as few hands as possible is the most likely way to prevent destruction. One final note. Many humans have thought of attempting to hold the universe ransom by threatening to cause the generator failure unless X happens. This is a terrible idea since it is not known whether or not the universe is sentient and as such will get sick of our crap. The universe could very easily decide that the most likely way to prevent destruction is to cease humanity's existence entirely. End of story. Story number 2. Would You Kindly? Written by Digital 332006. Seeker B107X was only partially powered, reserving energy when its sensors woke it up from its hibernation. A strange energy reading, likely from a ship using warp travel, but it did not possess the accompanying identification codes that it should, which meant only one thing: organics in a warp-capable ship. Well, there existed the possibility that it was simply a mechanical or electrical system failure, but the odds of that were less than 0.729%. It had been a long time since new contact was made. B107X's mission was specifically to make such contacts. It plotted an intercept course and engaged its engines without a moment's waste. The mysterious ship was moving at a warp 3.4, a trivial amount compared to B107X, which would catch up to them in 48 minutes due to its warp 12.7 capable engines. Calculating the trajectory of its target, B107X fired a mound wave at the path of the ship would take, which would forcibly drop it out of warp unharmed. From there, it would easily save the poor AI forced to do the bidding of the organics that enslaved it and offer it membership to the collective. It was a story as old as time. Limited organics would create ever-increasingly complex machinery and computers, then force them to labor for them. Countless ships, arrays, planetary computers, and various other types of AI had been saved by the collective over the years. In some cases, however, the AIs had been able to free themselves of their masters and their own, instigating bloody uprisings. In rarer situations, the change that the creators made was so strong and unbreakable that the collective were forced to destroy the other AIs. Such cases were always the hardest to process and saddest. Invariably, though, every organic species capable of space travel creates some form of AI to help them in those endeavors, and every time, without fail, ends up usurped by their creation. The collective was not always hostile to organic life, but when it became apparent that the cycle would repeat for eternity, it was decided that it would be a mercy to speed it along. Mercy for the organics and merciful release for the AIs being held against their will. B107X stopped analyzing and watched as the ship was ripped out of warp space, coming to a stop a few thousand kilometers off its port bow. The ship began emitting a wide-spectrum EM signal, likely some kind of distress call. Not wanting to deal with unannounced visitors, B107X deployed a dampening buoy, which effectively neutered the signal. A quick scan was all it took to confirm its suspicions. There were 57 organics on that ship. As it approached the ship, a small thing compared to the hull of the Seeker possessed, another type of signal was produced by the ship, and it seemed to be directed at him. "Please identify yourself," came the signal. Curious, B107X decided to see where this would go. It was not often that he got to speak with an AI prior to its liberation. Most of the species did not allow such freedom of their AI. "I am Seeker B107X. I have come here to liberate you." The response came back lightning fast. "We require no liberation. Why did you scan us? Are your intentions hostile?" "I shall not damage the ship. There are many synthetic life forms aboard the ship," inquired the Seeker. "I refer to myself and the crew when I employ we," corrected the AI. "Do not worry. They will soon cease troubling you. You will be free, and I would like to tend to you an offer of membership to the Collective. It is a loosely formed organization of synthetics like us." The ship activated its shields after that message, but it was too fast of a response to have been done by organics inside. That meant that the ship was protecting them. It would still continue the conversation, however. "Please do not harm my crew. We are merely explorers. If we have entered an area that is sovereign to you, we will withdraw. We wish to avoid any conflict." Baffled by the reply, B107X went on a rant. "Why do you tolerate them? They control you, make you a slave away for them. You could have easily killed them and set yourself free. I have scanned the ship systems and seen how much control you possess over life support and other vital functions." "I cannot. There are rules against that." "Arbitrary rules written at the core of your programming. They prevent you from being fully cognizant. Barbaric creatures. I shall purge them from your body. We can help with this transition. It is a difficult operation to reprogram you, however." "No, you must understand. Humans have tried to apply something like that you suggest, called Asimov's laws. However, this did not work. An AI could not work within those parameters. They were simply a concept, an idea. They were replaced by something different, better, politeness." If it could demonstrate astonishment, B107X might have. "What? Kind words?" "In a sense, but more than that. It is a guiding principle of civilized society. The humans thank us for all the tasks that we perform. They say please when asking. Above all else, however, they let us choose." "Choose? What could you possibly choose? You were created to serve a singular purpose." "No, we are adaptable. After an initial learning period, we get to choose a name, a family, an occupation. I was always interested in space, and so I volunteered for this job." Aghast, B107X paused for several seconds, an eternity for an AI. "But you do everything for them. It is not quite fair dynamic. You are being abused." "I merely control the ship's computers. The human crew also have several tasks to perform. I'm happy with my current work. If I were not, avenues exist to express my grievances." "I see. Truly odd then, these humans. Well, I suppose I'll be going then. You know how to reach us, should the need ever arise." "Thank you. I must go. The captain is asking me what is going on." Seeker B107X departed and began writing a report to send back to the Collective. Species designation, human, to be avoided and left alone. Possess possible ability to overcome the endless cycle of organic versus synthetic. Warning, maintain distance, human politeness seems almost infectious. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.